Here we go live on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel. It's our Eagles Bucs pregame show live from Raymond James Stadium with football 24/7 insider John McMullen. Wow, Johnny Mac, we waited a long time to get here. Birds 365, the official debut of the show was April 5th. And here we are talking meaningful football. Eagles Tampa Bay.
Yeah, playoff football. What more could you ask for against Super Bowl champions? Obviously, the reigning Super Bowl champions here in Tampa Bay. Interesting day. We had tornado warnings very early in the morning. So a lot of rain, a lot of storms. That's cleared up for the most part. But it's going to be pretty windy during the game, at least gusts. So we'll see how that affects the Eagles and Tampa Bay. I think a lot of people assume that bad weather helps the team that runs the football. But remember, great quarterbacks, and you saw it last night with Josh Allen, bad weather, different type of bad weather. They like bad weather. Aaron Rodgers talks about it all the time. Tom Brady has talked about it in the past. The offense knows where they're going. The defense doesn't. So the one thing that can lean in the Eagles' favor is wind. That's one thing all quarterbacks don't like is the wind. And it's not rain, it's not cold, it's the wind. And that part of it might help the Eagles out.
Johnny Mac, in terms of what the forecast is supposed to be at kickoff, what is it?
Yeah, the rain is pretty much out of here now. There might be a shower or two. But the wind gusts are gonna pick up, if anything, a little bit. They're supposed to. So 20, 30 mile an hour winds at times. It's not going to be sustained. So that part of it could affect the passing game, as I mentioned. Could also affect the kicking game. If you need a big kick late in the game and it comes at an inopportune time, that might affect Jake Elliott for the Eagles. Might affect Ryan Suckup for the Buccaneers. So you never know with that type of thing.
All right, good stuff. As we get underway, we remind everybody we're presented by Stateside Vodka all season long. Special thanks to Stateside Vodka. You can go to statesidevodka.com, use the key code or the keyword JAKIB, and get 15% off the very popular Stateside Vodka soda. And a special thanks to all of our subscribers who have purchased a lot of Stateside Vodka, supporting football 24/7. All season long. Okay, Johnny Mac, let's get your analysis on this football game. Let's start offensively with the Philadelphia Eagles, a 9-point underdog coming into the game, and the betting line is moving. People are hammering the Philadelphia Eagles as pushed out on Twitter by the Philly Godfather. Give me some of your initial thoughts about this Eagles offense against the Tampa Bay defense.
Yeah, I think people are excited about the potential of bad weather trending towards the Eagles. That's why I kind of started the show with it, and I think that's a lot of why you see the number coming down. Plus the fact that Eagles fans, as you can imagine, are in Tampa in force, and they're very excited about the Eagles, and they're obviously putting their money behind that excitement, so to speak. So a lot of late money coming in on the Eagles. I think the fact that the Buccaneers had to rule out Leonard Fournette also kind of spiked that a little bit, because with Leonard Fournette, it's not a great running team. Without him, and Ronald Jones, remember, is not playing as well. They're not going to run the football at all. So, Keyshawn Vaughn is probably their top back. They might even have to go to Le'Veon Bell at times. And we all know his career, and he's not what he once was. So it's going to be Tom Brady throwing the football. That could be good. That could be bad, depending how you look at it. So the Eagles offensively, we know they want to run the football. That's what it's all about. And the reason Jalen Hurts sat in Week 18 was to get him as healthy as possible for this game so he could get more involved in the running game, coming off that ankle injury and trying to get him as close to 100% as possible.
Yeah, Johnny Mac, I think Leonard Fournette was one of the catalyst reasons that Tampa Bay comes in as the defending world champions. I think he made huge contributions down in the playoffs a season ago. And I think that's a big loss for Tampa Bay today.
Yeah, he's definitely had a lot of success. I mean, his last 6 playoff games, he scored a touchdown in each. He's got 8 total touchdowns over that frame. So he's been in the end zone a lot. The question is that Tom Brady elevating talent or Leonard Fournette? I think, a lot of people forget he didn't live up to expectations where he was as a top 10 draft pick until he got to Tampa Bay, until he got to Tom Brady. So you kind of look at it both ways. And we've seen in the past, whether it's Cyril Grayson, another guy who's not going to play, Rashad Perriman, another first-round pick who flamed out elsewhere, Scotty Miller at times. This guy elevates people, and who's to say he can't elevate Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah, no doubt about that. Johnny Mack reporting from down at Raymond James Stadium. Let's stay on the offense for a minute, Johnny Mack. The game plan, head coach Nick Sirianni's game plan. We all expect it to be, okay, the team's going to run the football. But what does that really mean to us watching the game from home? What should we see? What will we be looking at?
Well, you've seen it really. The first Tampa game, I think a lot of people don't realize was sort of the demarcation line of the season for the Eagles. So a lot of people look at that Las Vegas game because that's where they had the plane flight coming back, where the veterans were questioning the season and where things were going. And then we had the flower talk after that game. But it was really the prior week, which was a Thursday night game against Tampa Bay. And you had that mini bye coming off that game. In other words, before the Las Vegas game. And if you remember how they came out against the Raiders, it was a lot of undercenter. It was a lot of handing the football off to Miles Sanders. And then Miles got hurt. Miles got hurt in the second quarter of that game. So it was sort of a delayed start in this rushing attack and becoming a run-first team. Was sort of on a 1-week delay, and it kicked in Detroit. But the coaching staff made the plans in that mini bye after the Tampa Bay game because they said there's too much on Jalen Hurts' plate. We got to help him out a little bit more. And that's where the Eagles season turned. So you know what they're going to do. They're going to run the football. They're going to try to set up play action, and they're going to try to get Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith involved in the passing game. That's what got them here. They're not going away from it.
How disciplined will Jalen Hurts need to be in the pocket before he converts to extending the play?
Well, it's one of those things that the Eagles have been talking about all year with a young quarterback, a first-year starting quarterback. It's a fine line. You prefer Jalen Hurts to climb the pocket, as they say, a little bit more, and look for the passing game a little bit longer before he starts to flush right. But he's also got such ability to do things off schedule. Nick Sirianni's talked about that a lot as well. You don't want to take that out of his game. You don't want to coach him and browbeat him to the point that he's not going to have that instinctual feel to go make something out of nothing. So the Eagles have been preaching it. They would like for him to look down the field and try to make the big passing play more than a running play. But right now it's the playoffs, and you want to win the football game by hook or by crook any way you can. And if that means Jalen Hurts making a big play running the football, you'll take it.
John Clark pushed out on Twitter, I saw this morning. I'll give him credit for reporting that Jalen Hurts spoke to the team last night with a very spirited message. What do you know about it? What do you make of it?
Yeah, Nick has made that shift sort of late in the season, about 3/4 of the way through the season. He recognized that, look, when you start hearing the same voice over and over and over and over again, you start to tune it out. Um, some people might say that about me, Krause, but you start to tune it out. And he purposefully went to a number of team leaders. In the past, it's been Jason Kelsey, it's been Rodney McLeod, it's been players like that. And Jalen Hurts is a part of that, even though he's younger by the nature of his position. He is a leader of this team, but he's also sort of wise beyond his years. I always call him an old soul. He's 23 years old, but he acts like he's 53 in a lot of ways from a maturity standpoint. So that's always been one of his strengths. When people talked about Jalen Hurts being the starting quarterback of this team, the questions were never about the intangible stuff, the leadership, the ability to have people follow him. It was the other things on the field. So he's a unique player. I've said that for a long time, and that's both from an on-field standpoint and as far as his ability to lead people at such a young age.
Johnny Mac, you've been and have covered Jalen Hurts and provided an opinion on Jalen Hurts, I think more than any other reporter in the city of Philadelphia. So you've been on this ride with Jalen from the very beginning. What is your assessment today versus perhaps what it was when this thing all started back in training camp?
Well, there's been tremendous improvement. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the coaching staff, as I mentioned, was able to help him after that Week 6 game in Tampa Bay, and shifting things to take a little bit off of his plate and help him a little bit more. I think that factors into it as well. But this week to week, and it's been every single week, Krause, everybody wants to say, is Jalen Hurts prove this? Is he the long-term starter? If he wins this game, if he's the long-term starter, if he loses this game, is he a long-term starter? You don't have to do that every week, every single game. The Eagles are like every other team. If they can get somebody who they think is better, they will. I've said this for probably 10 weeks now. If they can't, they won't. And it's looking more and more likely like they can't. So this game has nothing to do with Jalen Hurts' long-term future with the Philadelphia Eagles, other than if he plays really well, you're going to see this narrative that he's the guy for the next 10 years. And if he plays really poorly, you're going to see the other narrative that you got to go in a different direction. And we've seen it all year, and it gets kind of frustrating, to be honest.
Let's jump off of the offense, Johnny Mac, to the defensive side of the football. That's where the other chatter has been all week leading up to this playoff game across Sports Talk Radio, across the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, certainly on Birds 365, the middle with Barrett Brooks and Harry Mays, and even on the Dan Sileo Show, the National Football Show. A lot of conversation about how Jonathan Gannon will approach defending Tom Brady. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do in the world. If you go back to the history of this team and the history of this organization, we all know what the fans want, and they like Buddy Ryan, and they like Jim Johnson, and they like Bud Carson, and they like this super aggressive blitzing mentality. I got to be honest with you. You might want to press pause on that this week, because if there's one quarterback you don't want to blitz, it's number 12 on the other side. I mean, he's seen everything. He understands what to do in those situations. And to me, this game, and a bunch of the defensive players have talked about this, Alex Singleton, Rodney McLeod, Anthony Harris, To me, this is a game where you have to tackle well. Um, Tom's going to get the ball out quickly. You're not going to be able to sack him a lot. He just will not allow that. And yards after catch are going to be a big part of this game for Tampa Bay offensively. The Eagles didn't do a good job of that the first time they faced him. If he dumps it off, 7 yards over the field, you got to stop it right there. You can't let 7 yard pass turn into 25-yard game. And that to me is what the Eagles have to do. But you're not going to fool Tom Brady. You're not going to fool Tom Brady. Simple as that.
Well, where's the break point, Johnny Mack? Watching that Buffalo Bills Patriots game last night and watching Josh Allen go up and down the field against that Patriot defense. And I kept saying to myself, what's the shift? What's the change? What's the break point that could change what is happening to them offensively, meaning offensively against that defense? What's the break point for this Eagles defense? If Brady starts in that process begins, they don't get pressure, a lot of yaks after short catches, and the offense starts to, for lack of a better description, move the football up and down the field. I don't know whether they're going to score or not, but I'm just saying, start to control the game by moving the football.
Cognizant that they cannot get behind by 2 possessions. In other words, if they get behind 14-0, even 10-0, it's a little bit different than when they fell behind 10-0 to the Washington football team with Garrett Gilbert. You knew, okay, if you could just settle down, you knew Washington wasn't going to continue scoring. Tampa Bay is going to continue to score. And the Eagles are probably not equipped to do what they did in Super Bowl 52 against Tom Brady, and that's win a shootout. This is not the same Eagles team. They're not capable of running up and down the field and scoring in that type of manner against a team that's going to put up 40 points. So the Eagles are very cognizant that they need to get the lead. They need to play well early. But if they do get behind, it can't be by 2 possessions. It can't be by 2 scores, because then it changes the whole philosophy. And then you're going to start doing things offensively that you didn't want to do. And that's drop back and throw the football.
Johnny Mack, where is your defined guts of the game? Opening quarter, is that included in the guts of the game today?
Yeah, I mean, well, if it's, as I said, if it's 10-0, 14-0, the Eagles are in trouble. If they're down 10-0, 14-0, if they're down by 2 possessions, they are in trouble. Maybe 10-0, they can show some discipline and keep trying to run the football. But 14-0 and even if you think about 17-0, 20-0, something like that, then they're out of their comfort zone. So to me, it's about staying in the comfort zone, and you could be losing as long as it's within 1 score. If it's 10-7, 10-3, even something like that, that's fine. But if they get behind by those 2 possessions, that's going to be an issue for this team.
All right, good stuff from John McMullen reporting with our pregame show from Raymond James Stadium. Of course, the live postgame show, as soon as the game concludes, Johnny Mack jumps on with Derek Gunn, Mark Farzetta, and Devin Caney. You'll get all of the post reporting from inside of the locker room. And, of course, we will be back with John for a look inside at halftime. Great stuff, John McMullen. Enjoy what we are hoping is an Eagle victory today down in Tampa Bay. The passing of the torch, as Xander Krause said before we came on, from Tom Brady to Jalen Hurts. We'll take it.
Well, I will say enjoy the game. I'll go that far.
Good stuff from John McMullen reporting down from Raymond James Stadium joining us here live on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, our version or our issue playoff version of Football 24/7 presented by Stateside Vodka. Don't forget, Xander will be pushing out information on our 5 Devontae Smith jersey winners. So watch for that. And we'll see you right back here at halftime. Eagles, Tampa Bay. 25,000 plus Eagle fans, I believe, are in Tampa Bay for the football game. Smash that like button and smash the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Great stuff to all of our viewers and subscribers for tuning in on this Sunday morning. Until we join you back at halftime